everyone. Thanks for listening to On the Podcast. This is a short format episode podcast that you can listen to while you're doing your business on the pot. Or maybe you're feeling a little under the weather, or your wrist is feeling a little, or your foot, or your head, or your stomach, or whatever.
Your emotions.
Or your emotions, man. Your emotions. They're all over the place. You're just not feeling your tippy-top self, so you decide to go to the doctor. But doctors are notorious for just making you sit there and wait.
So weird.
Ugh. And even if it's not the doctor, do you have to get escorted out of your doctor's office? I'm a troublemaker. You have to get escorted out. And that person took 15 minutes to come and find me.
Anytime I've seen a doctor, they're like, all right, well, you can leave.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh, okay.
No, mine has to hand me a sheet of paper and then walk me out.
Huh.
So while you're waiting for either the doctor or the person to escort you out of the building, turn on an episode of On the Podcast and learn a little bit while you just sit there and eventually open the door and poke your head out and go, hello, I'm Katie.
And I'm Liz. Hey, Katie.
Hey, Liz.
What are we talking about today?
Liz, do you remember the excitement of getting new shoes as a child? And you're like sitting in, well, really, truly anything. But do you remember the piece of equipment that you'd put your foot in, that metal thing? And then
I used it when I worked at Journeys.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Okay. Yeah. This is a perfect episode for you as a shoe salesman, Liz Waldman. Did you know that in the early 1900s, truly up until the 1970s, they were using Xray technology to fit people for shoes?
Whoa.
I just found this out last week, so I'll tell you all about it, but It blows my mind. So it started with an effort during World War I. Soldiers were getting trench foot and chronic foot problems because their shoes just weren't fitting right. Yeah. So the Xray had just recently been invented, and they were like, "Hey," and it's a offshoot of the actual Xray. It's called the fluoroscope, which is a machine that you can just at this point, put your foot into, and it shows the picture of it. You don't have to do any imaging or anything like that. So they came up with this fluoroscope to look at the soldiers' feet and see if they're all messed up or whatever.
Man, World War I, trench wars, horrifying.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrifying.
Yeah. Well,
whose stupid idea was it just to dig deep trenches in the ground and then shoot at each other, and then sometimes come out of your trench and, I don't know, throw a bomb or something. I don't know.
Get an X-ray of your foot.
Yeah.
So after the war, Jacob W. Lowe was a doctor in Boston. He also kind of helped invent the fluoroscope. He adapted the technology at that point for shoe sales because he was like, war is over. What are we supposed to do with these big boxes? Let's use them to sell some shoes.
I mean, I worked at Journeys in 2009 in a historically bad time for the economy. Mm-hmm. And working there was when I learned that you should always have a job that is recession proof, because people will always need shoes. Now, will they always need sweet Nike Dunks? No, but they will always need shoes. So it's brilliant.
Yeah. So he filed for a patent in 1919, but he didn't get the patent until 1927. But he ended up naming his device the Footoscope. So it was these wooden boxes with the X-ray tube underneath that had a hole in it. You'd stick your foot in it. You know, the fluoroscope, it would be instantly up. And there were 3 eye whatever things where you put your eyes.
Yeah.
So it would be one for you to look at your foot to see if the shoe fit, one for the shoe salesman, and one for either if you were a small child, your parent to look at your shoe, your friend to look at your shoe, your
riddle me
child to
this.
look at your
Are
shoe.
you standing and looking?
You're standing.
So
they're pretty tall. They're like 3.5 feet, like tall boxes. So you'd like put your foot into this hole after you tried on your shoe.
Okay. Interesting. So you would just look to see if the shoe fit you versus like walking around, feeling if it fit you.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Not really sure. I don't know. They were like looking at the curve of the toe. Sure. I don't know. So while the footoscope was being patented here in the U.S., British inventors were also patenting their own, not a footoscope, but they named it something different. That happened in 1926. So, so many people are putting their feet into these machines, not really thinking about the effects of radiation that this is having on their bodies, because this is still like a new-ish technology.
Yeah.
Nobody's thinking about that. Nobody's studying that until people started getting like side effects from this.
Well, if you get like, if you're trying to fit your foot into a shoe because you've got trench foot and you're dealing with trench foot, and then you get foot cancer and your foot gets chopped off, then you never have to worry about wearing shoes ever again.
The silver lining was like, hopefully you got trench foot. Don't have to worry about shoes. So obviously the amount of radiation exposure depended on like how frequently you were near the machine or how close you were to the machine. I watched this video that explained like there was radiation within like 10 feet of this machine. So depending on however big this, shoe store was, like it could be a lot of people around that. And a typical fitting lasted about 20 seconds. And some people would have, you'd look at multiple pairs of shoes. So you were standing there for 20 seconds at a time, just getting blasted with radiation.
Hey, look, I'll tell you two things, all right? Number one, at Journeys, there was a policy that if somebody asked for a shoe, you had to bring them 2 other pairs, which was ridiculous because it's like, I didn't ask for these. And you just be like, just try them on.
Like of the same pair of shoe, like a bigger size or just a different shoe?
It didn't matter. So sometimes you would bring like different sizes, or sometimes you would bring like a completely different like brand or a completely different shoe entirely. Anyway.
Inside secrets of Journeys.
Yeah, weird. And then and the other part of this is that working in shoes is a dangerous job.
Without the radiation.
Even without the radiation, we had these ladders that would, go all the way up to the ceiling that you climb up and try and get the shoe. And it was very sketchy. There was one time I fell down and I like caught myself on like another ladder.
Like
I was like,
Griswold.
Pretty much. And I was like, oh.
Yikes.
Number of times I fell off like on lower heights, but that was
not good.
So I'm here for the shoe worker union. I'll march with you.
Okay. So Liz, talking about the measurement of radiation, which is the roentgen, it didn't become internationally recognized accepted unit until 1928. So, a few years after these shoe things had started. And so 20 years after it was like recognized in 1948, they did a study of 43 machines in Detroit to see like how much radiation these machines are causing. And they were causing between 16 to 75 roentgens per minute. But the industrial use of X-rays was limiting the exposure to 0.1 roentgens per day.
Oh boy.
And you were getting between 16 to 75 in 1 minute.
Oops.
So at this point, like X-ray technology, back to the early 20s, X-ray technology was being used like clinically on a daily basis and studied like hardcore because it was like the new technology. So Thomas Edison was an early adapter of X-ray technology, but he was also one saying like, this is very dangerous and we need to be careful of this. He had a man, Clarence M. Daly, who was one of his technicians, that worked in his lab that was exposed to radiation.
His jaw just fell off.
It was like lesions on his skin.
Oof.
His hair was falling out.
Yikes.
And they think, was the first person to end up dying from radiation exposure. He died from skin cancer, but probably because of radiation exposure. And that was in 1904 that he died from that. Guidelines weren't made in the U.S. until 1922 to protect workers from radiation. And they pointed to him, as an example of like, this guy died for science because of this. But then there were like shoe salesmen. So it was kind of like the weird thing between like...
Shoe Workers Union.
You're doing it for science and this is like a good cause. Yeah. Versus like you're selling shoes and you're just trying to
that's a good cause.
No, but you're just trying to make a living. So by the early 1950s, an estimated 10,000 machines were operating in the US, 3,000 in the UK, and 1,000 in Canada. Still in like regular operation. After World War II and the dropping of the atomic bomb, that's when people started to go like, oh, radiation probably isn't a good thing that we should be around. Mm-hmm. I'm going to call it like the radiation lobby. And it wasn't like an actual lobby, but there were people like writing in saying, no, I work around these machines all day and I'm totally fine. Like keep the photomatic. What was it called?
Yeah. Photoscope.
States at that point began passing legislation that the fluoroscope could only be operated by licensed physicians.
Whoa.
And then...
Can you imagine you've gone to medical school and you're like, I'm gonna sell shoes.
No.
I just went to med school. Just spent 8 years of my life in school.
To sell shoes. Well,
I'm a licensed physician now.
So I can use this thing to sell shoes.
I'll be selling shoes. Not too dissimilar from what I did.
Yeah.
You can call me Dr. Liz.
So even as late as 1970, 17 states were still allowing the use of this machine.
Jeez.
Liz, so ultimately there were 3 shoe salesmen that were identified with rare conditions that was associated with chronic exposure.
Okay. So it wasn't that bad.
3 that they know of, I think. One had a severe radiation burn requiring amputation. That was in 1950. A case of dermatitis with ulceration in 1957. And a case of basal cell carcinoma in 2004.
Wow.
So... going to get a shoe and get a side dose of radiation.
I just feel like put it on your foot.
But go walk around that store. Run up and down the aisles.
Yeah.
Have your mom feel your
toe. Wiggle it around. Yeah, wiggle it around. Make sure there's a little bit of space there. Not too much space. I do have to make a side note. I'm not a doctor. So please, all the doctor listeners, don't be angry that I just called myself a doctor.
Can't do anything with trench foot.
I can't fix your trench foot. Well, maybe I can.
So there you go. The dark side of shoe sales.
That's so interesting.
In the early...
Oh, it's dark.
20th century.
It is dark. Finally. My story will be told. Well, thanks, Katie.
You're welcome.
What's that inside my body?
Probably a little bit of radiation.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully
Likely,
not too much radiation.
Yeah, hopefully not. Yeah.
And also a little bit of knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay, see you next time.
Bye.